Fusco Family Kitchen once again. I'm Pat Fusco. I'm going to have some fun today. I'm going to bake chocolate chip cookies. Oh, I know, everybody has their own favorite recipe, but I'm going to show you my favorite recipe. And as a bonus, I'm going to make 4 batches. In each batch, I'm going to change one ingredient, and I'll be showing you the ingredient, and then I'll mix up my favorite batch. This is the standard recipe in every cookbook for chocolate chip cookies. I have a little bit different take on it. For example, my brown sugar, I have 1 cup of brown sugar minus 2 tablespoons, 1 cup of white sugar minus 2 tablespoons. This is 1 3/4 cups of margarine, 2 eggs, rough cut walnuts. It's about, I filled the 1 cup measuring cup, and this is the chocolate chips, about 1 cup there. There are 3 cups of flour in here. I've already incorporated 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now you can add vanilla if you like, but don't put the cinnamon in. The next batch is the same thing here, minus the 2 tablespoons. This is 100% butter, our eggs, the chocolate chips and walnuts, and incorporated in here as well is the soda, salt, and the flour. And the third batch is going to be the same thing, minus the 2 tablespoons of each. This is 100% shortening and all the other ingredients. And now this is my favorite combination. This is the minus 2 tablespoons of each, 2/3 cups of butter, 2/3 cups of shortening, our eggs, 2 eggs, some nuts, chocolate chips, and in here I have 1 teaspoon of soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to take 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. In it goes, and we're going to incorporate that before we mix it. Okay. I'd like to give you my thoughts on using cinnamon rather than vanilla. Vanilla is perfectly fine to use. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my taste. And vanilla seems to spike up the sweetness, and I think with 2 cups of sugar in this recipe, I think we have enough sweetness. So I basically stumbled onto using the cinnamon because I like the smell, and you get a little bit of a taste, and I don't really think it does anything to the sweetness, but I like the aroma. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the method of mixing, and we'll just start off with our already room temperature softened butter and shortening. We don't want it melted, we just want room temperature. And okay, here we go with our sugar and 2 eggs. We can start adding the flour. Add the flour. And I've done it several different ways. I add it all at once. I've added, a little bit at a time. It doesn't matter as long as you get it in there. But this seems to splatter if I add it all at once. So I'll just do it like this and cover this up a little bit. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, that's all there is to that. So we'll just take this down. I'm going to pour everything in a bowl so you can see when everything's set up. I want you to see how it looks, so you can decide if you want to change your recipe or not. I'm going to add the chocolate chips. Now, there's no set rule on how many chocolate chips you want to put in here. You can put a lot, more than a cup, and you don't even have to add the nuts if you don't want. This is about a cup. Usually that's the right ingredients, but there's no set rule that says you can't have a lot more of one than the other. So I get this all set up and mixed. Now I have made up all 4 batches, and there is something that you can't actually do. You can't feel it, but this is the margarine. As you can see, margarine It has it's very liquidy, and margarine has a lot of water in it, by the way. And this other one is the all butter, and it's nice and soft, and that's also very good. This one is all shortening, and though you can't see the difference probably, it just sets up differently. It's a little harder. It's not as soft as this one. Now this is the one that I put together that you saw. This is the half butter and half shortening, and this is my favorite. And I'll tell you why. The butter has a lot more flavor. The shortening, even though it comes out crunchy on the outside and chewy on the inside, I think the one with the butter has better taste. So I did my own, and this is what I've come up with, and that's why I use half butter and half shortening. I have the best of both worlds. Okay, we're going to throw them in the oven, and we'll be back, and I'll show you how they all come out. This is margarine, and it will melt down very quickly because it's very watery. I'm just going to put 6 on this one because I'm not too sure at this moment how it's going to how it's going to spread out. Okay, now the butter, I like to use the scoop because I can get a more consistent cookie. And also, if you want to, you can just drop them off of a tablespoon and use your finger and do that way. So here we go. This is the all butter one. Butter will melt very fast, but I'm going to help it along a little bit. I'm just going to push them down a little bit. Now, shortening takes a longer time to melt, and you definitely have to push the cookie down when you put it on the cookie sheet. You have to push it down. And I just push the butters down because I do it for almost all of them anyways. Okay, now this is my recipe. This is half butter, half margarine. And I'm going to push this down as well. They just seem to go better. It just bakes even more evenly. 12 minutes on 350. Take it out and let it cool on the cookie sheet before you remove them to the rack to cool. Let me tell you about chocolate chips. Every once in a while I mistakenly buy milk chocolate, and when I use them in the recipe, I really don't like them that much. It makes the cookie way too sweet. So I in that case, and if it's happened to you, just cut back on the sugar. And one other thing about the sugar, in my recipe I cut the cups of brown sugar and the cup of white sugar by 2 tablespoons. If you really like it sweet, just add the whole cup and forget about the tablespoons. That's perfectly fine. On that note, we'll wait until they come out of the oven and we'll see what we like the best. It's already starting to smell. Oh, wonderful here. Here we are. We took the small batches out of the oven, and the one on the far side over here, this is the margarine. And as you can see, they spread out quite a bit and they're very smooth. And these are the all butter ones. They're a little bit puffier, equally good. And these are the ones made with shortening. You can see by the top, you can see some cracking here. And then these are the ones from my recipe, the half shortening, half butter. And they're a little puffy, so you kind of have the best of all the worlds here. And all of them are terrific. Now, I had a taste test. I held a taste test with some of my friends one evening, and I listed them A, B, C, and D. And I didn't tell them anything about what was in them. I just wanted them to taste to see which one they liked the best. And they all looked at these, and they all looked at this, and you know what they took the best? Because they took the shortening. And they came out a little bit bigger, but there was a lot of cracking on the shortening, and they liked those the best. And I thought that's kind of unusual. If I would have told you the shortening was in these cookies, would you have picked that one out? And they said no, shortening is way too fattening. But that's the one that tasted the best. Now, later on, this came number 2. This is mine. This was number 2. I think this has better taste. This is not the taste is not as tasteful as these or the butter. But I invite you to be the judge on your own.
Taste this.
You like that one? Oh, okay.